All right. If I must, I will introduce this podcast. But for those of you who just happen to stumble upon it, this is the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade, but rock never does. And I am your host, Gen X Joe, right here in the Wherever I May Roam studio. Brother and sister, do I have a guest lined up for you today that is near and dear to my heart. This dude has shaped the sound of my youth, shaped the sound of the glam era, although he does not consider his band a glam band. His voice, undeniably recognizable. His songwriting skills, off the charts. He is a straight up rock and roll survivor, and I am talking about none other than the former frontman of Enuff Z'Nuff, Donnie Vie, a recent Hall of Fame inductee into the Chicago music scene. And Donnie's here today to talk about a new label home over at Little Steven's Wicked Cool Records. And he is going to re-release his beloved 2019 solo album, Beautiful Things, on July 31st, complete with new artwork and new packaging. But wait, let me tell you, there's more! Donnie dropped an absolute bomb right at the end of the podcast. Now, I know you could just easily fast forward to the podcast at the end. Just don't do that. You want to listen to the whole thing. Maybe I gave that away too soon. But anyway, at the end of the podcast, he just dropped the bomb about a long-standing feud with none other than, drumroll please, sorry I don't have sound effects, none other than Sebastian Bach. Yeah, you heard me right. Another rock icon who has a feud with Sebastian Bach. Unbelievable, right? Anyway, before I forget, it is a double dose of denim week for interviews. 2 interviews, 1 week, 0 apologies. And this episode is brought to you by my sponsor, Lisa Gandia of Celebrity Events. If you are an artist and you need a gig, and you need a date, you need a time, you need a location, call Lisa. Check her out. All her information is on her website, celebrityeventsrock.com. That's celebrityeventsrock.com for all your booking needs. All right, so I hope your amp is up for this one and your denim jacket is completely dusted off. Let's fly high again. Not Michelle, but Donnie. Donnie Vie, here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Oh, dude, I gotta say, you do not know how long I have been a fan of not only you, but Enuff Z'Nuff over the years.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna pull up my questions for you.
I'll pull up my answers.
Oh, you got them written down already, don't you? I just want to say, first off, man, congrats on being inducted last year into the Chicago Rock Hall of Fame.
It's my first Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, hey, man, you know what? Let's hope you get into the actual Rock Hall of Fame, if you want to call it the Rock Hall of Fame in Cleveland. So,
yeah, I'm not hearing so many great things about it lately.
Yeah, same here.
People aren't too fond of it, but just trying to get comfortable. I'm out in my gazebo.
I love it, man. Where are you at in Chicago?
Yeah, Blue Island. Yeah, unfortunately.
Hey,
I wasn't born here.
No?
I was born in Chicago, probably 10 miles from here, though. Just kind of just took over the house. Just my I never had a dad, you know, and my mom's got old stuff and stuff, and sisters, and you know, it's a nice place, and so figured, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah, why not?
It's a lot of fun fixing it up and stuff. You know?
Oh, that's cool, man. You got a studio there?
That's the one thing I haven't. I've sort of set up a demo studio a little bit, but for the past few years, it's like after making that Beautiful Things record, and it just never even seen the light of day. I've kind of discouraged. Like, why am I gonna, because I make another record, I got to make it better than Beautiful Things, and I think that that's the best thing I've ever done. So it's like, why am I gonna go into all of that? That takes a lot out of me. I do everything, write the whole thing and all the words, play all the parts, come up with all those parts and stuff, and then we re-record them when we make the record. But it's a lot of work, I don't come up for air for days, and it's so much for so little. But in light of new developments, maybe that's a possibility in the future.
Awesome, man.
My last band, I had a really great studio, but like I said, I just stopped using it.
Yeah, now those new developments, is that just with the album that you're talking about?
Yeah, I finally got a record label, and a cool one too. Just you never know what's around the corner. It's wicked cool. Got a bunch of cool bands on it. It's where it's where I'd like to be. You know what I mean? I would rather be there than there's no chance of major labels or any of that shit anymore for guys like me. They got a machine now. They're stamping out all of those new pretty kids. With all their pipes and this and that. I don't even know who anybody is anymore. But I like where I'm at. It's I guess it's just all up to the music, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, man. The Beautiful Things song, dude, I listened to it over and over again. And, you know, man, your voice is still there, man. And it just took me back to the late 80s with the feel when you first came out with Enuff Z'Nuff. And I love kind of that melodic, that psychedelic Beatle-esque feel that you bring to the music.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I love that shit too. I'm a fan of the stuff. Just when I listen to any of my songs, all I hear is what I wish I would have done differently. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of it. It's a large, it's like 25 collective records of stuff, doing Enuff Z'Nuff and all my solo stuff and a few different things here and there. So that's, when you don't realize the scope of it until you have a stack of CDs in front of you to sign. With somebody trying to get me to sign my stuff, I have everything, and it's like I'm sitting there behind a stack that I can't see over. And it's like, wow, I did all of that, and I wrote all of those songs, and I came up with all of those parts, and that's a lot, and I get, then I start to get a little more proud of myself, Usually pretty hard on myself, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we can all get like that sometimes, something goes wrong, whether it's little or big, I never think I'm good enough with the podcast or anything that I do. And, everybody, tells me, dude, you're doing great, but, I still want to be better, man.
As long as you're enjoying it, as long as people are enjoying you and you're enjoying it, I just had a detached retina, about 2 weeks ago. And, that's a crazy thing when all of a sudden your eyesight, part of your eyes just go. It's something you take for granted, like, the next thing you know, it's like this one eye is like the one day I'm seeing gnats and bugs and stuff. And then the next day it's like half of my vision from here down is all blocked out. And I'm like, all right, well, this is definitely officially a thing. So I better go to the ER. I went to the ER. I said, you have detached retina, and it's nearly all the way detached. And so through all of the hustle and bustle and surgery and all the crazy shit going on, I wasn't even aware that they released another single.
Oh no!
I just found that out. I was like, what's with all the interviews lately? And then my sister told me, well, they just put out a new single. Like, oh, all right, I get it.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing. So I'm really proud of that song. It's like there's walls and walls and bridges and fences of harmonies on that song. And for the noodlers, you got Paul Gilbert leading off the pack, and so the guitar guy should love that. He's such a fucking great player.
He is, man. How did you wind up getting Paul on the album?
Paul was in Mr. Big. Mr. Big was our very first tour of Enuff Z'Nuff that we went out on, our first national tour for a new thing. And we went out with Mr. Big for a bunch of months. And it was a crazy bill, too, because nobody really knew what to do with us at first. You know what I mean? Because we didn't sound like anybody else. But, you know, we ended up looking like a lot of them, unfortunately. But we'd play with Mr. Big, and they loved us. And we'd look in the back, you'd see them during the show, you'd see them back there by the board. They were like, they're watching every single show. Paul would be there watching every show. And it was crazy because we'd walk on, you know, our stupid hair and makeup and shit like that. We'd walk on to this, like to everybody. It's like a sea of this, you know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck? And so by the end of the show, they'll just, you got no shirt on left, you know, your makeup's all sweated off, and you're just rocking out Enuff Z'Nuff songs. And we always left to won everybody over. But Paul, you know, he kind of, he really loved it. And so we kind of got to be sort of buddies. And I went and stayed at his house one time for a couple of days. And I was a mess at that time. You know, there's a lot of times that I wish things would have been differently. But then I just reach out to him every now and then and see how he's doing. You know, if I see him in a video or something, hey, how you doing? He's doing that. And then I was doing the record, and I needed something in the beginning of that song. So, or through the song, you know, it has a slide part that went, all that, and you need somebody good. And I thought, I wonder if Paul Gilbert. And I sent him an email, and he just said, "We hear it." And next thing you know, I had 1 million tracks from Paul, and it's fucking awesome.
That's so cool.
I'm kind of on with Paul. He's the big star.
Oh man, you guys are both big stars in my eyes, man. You know, Mr. Big, Enuff Z'Nuff. Now, going back what you were saying, you know, about Enuff Z'Nuff, and you know, record labels didn't know where to kind of place you guys at. And if I remember correctly, and I can't think of the exact quote, but I know just what you said now, you've always been solid in confirming that you never felt Enuff Z'Nuff was a hair metal band.
No. I mean, it ended up being at first. It ended up that way. That wasn't Chip and I weren't hair metal or glam or any of that stuff. We were just retarded. You know what I mean? We just a goofy look and stuff. And our we hooked up with this manager who turned out to be a big shyster, and but he had a big recording studio, Royal Recorders. Skid Row did the record there. And so we had carte blanche. We had a big studio to make our demos in and shit. We're in there, you know, and they also managed Derek, but Derek he didn't have a band for Derek, so he didn't know what to do with Derek. And we had a guitar player who I thought was a lot more appropriate because he would think. He would take time to sit and think, and Derek never did that. He just was so naturally talented that he would just grab the guitar and whack off, and everything was good enough. You know, I'd hum a little melody to him and say, "Here, put some melody into it," you know. And then Vic, you know, I never even heard him play before he joined the band, and I just found out. By the way, Alex Aspire, Derek's in the band. Alex is my guitar player currently, but
okay.
But I say Derek's in the band, so I had nothing really to say about it. But I mean, he's amazing. It's fucking nice. But I always thought that he should be in a band that revolved around him. You know what I mean? Around his guitar playing. His guitar playing was such a star in itself. You know, but he wasn't with it enough, and he didn't. Wasn't enough of an artist to do something like that. He was just that talented. I mean, there was no thought that went into anything he did whatsoever. You know, he was just that talented. It was like automatic pilot. But that's what ended up happening to us. You know, and everybody all the bands around and our friends and everybody were doing that. And so Chip and I were like, all right, well, you know, there went a little bit of lipstick and some eyeliner, and it wouldn't necessarily even look glam or 80s metal if it weren't for Derek and Vic. You know, if it were because I was a punk rocker. You know, I was in the Beatles and punk rock, and like New Thing was written as a punk rock song. You know, it wasn't written as a metal song, and so the label I think really dropped the ball when it came to being have a stylist and an image and stuff like that, because we were just kind of going with it, and it's like I never felt very comfortable in that shit, but it was comfortable to wear, and that's what people were doing, and it was a big mistake, and every time I didn't trust my instincts, it ended up my instincts were right. You know what I mean? I do that with everything, though. You know, everything. Who likes to hear this guy? You know, but who's going to walk away from a multi-million-dollar record deal to, you know, for stand for your beliefs? I just needed friends so badly. I had, you know, I mean, that was the first band I was in, and I just grew up, you know, very alone, isolated, and had a pretty shit childhood, and all the stereotypical bad things, and functional autism, ADHD, bipolar, you name it. I didn't know all that stuff then. It would have made a big difference through the years that I'd known those things, but I just needed a brother, you know. I just needed friends, and with Chip, he fast-tracked me to being able to play, you know. I mean, with this, the lead singer of a national act on MTV and stuff, and that was really him next to me made that possible, because I couldn't have done that at the time on my own. I was just too insecure and too shy, you know. And, so that was huge. But we ended up paying the price for that, man, because with the songs I write had me, you know, like Beautiful Things is the very first time I ever really fully created the image I have of myself as an artist in my head. You know, people have always thought as myself as an artist, and I mean that like that Beautiful Things record is a perfect example. So I mean, if had I been doing that, we never would have been affected by the times or the changing days or anything like that. You know, like Tom Petty or U2 or somebody like that. You're just that. You know, the times will change. Everything will go on. You know, you're still that. You know, you're the Eagles or whatever. It just continues to be that. You know what I mean? And that should have been what happened, but it didn't.
But you know, you made a lot of great points, and so I just want to follow up on a couple of things that you said there. Following your instincts, what made you feel that Wicked Cool Records was the record label for you now?
Little Steven.
Ah, okay.
Little Steven, he's the man, dude. When we used to be in New York mixing, I forget, like Strength and Animals, I think both, we would mix them out there. So Chip and I would go live out there for like a month or so while we're mixing and stuff. We'd live at the Mayflower. And Little Steven used to come to the studio. We had a bunch of people would come to the studio, you know. I'd go out to the clubs and I'd invite people back, you know. They gave me my own little room where they set up with a playback and stuff like that, where I could bring people and, you know, and show off and play the new songs and stuff, and, you know, party. And Little Steven would be there occasionally, and he was just listening to the songs, and he's just like thinking. And I could see him thinking, so I'd be like, this guy knows, you know, this is a whole different conversation that I'm having with this guy than with most of the other people. You know, even Hart was there once, and part of it, you know, and it's just the same thing, you know. But with Little Steven, it was like he got it, you know. And I'm not sure, maybe this is just all my imagination, but I felt that way. And then it would have been great had he produced Enuff Z'Nuff, I think. You know, but then just recently, not too long ago, I pretty much thought, this is it, it's over. You know, the end of the run. Playing shows is so expensive to have a band, and hotels and flights and stuff for the money that you get at that level. And it's also, you know, it can be a toxic environment, and not to mention a huge pain in the ass when you've got severe anxiety and to boot lazy as fuck, you know. So, but then, you know, my chick's very political. I mean, political to a fault. You know what I mean? It's like anything you say can be brought to politics, and everything you say will be brought to politics. But she she'd follow different people like AOC and stuff like that, and Bernie Sanders and stuff. And she was telling me about this some musician guy that's really really powerful the way his views and stuff. And she's like, he's like Little Steven. You ever heard of Little Steven? I said, I know Little Steven. I know him. Yeah, I didn't even know he was in the E Street Band then. I didn't know he was in Springsteen. I knew him from the Disciples of Soul, you know, on MTV. There he was on it, you know, it's like the vampire guy, hippie vampire dude on the Disciples of Soul. And he had that song on there, and I thought it was cool. I thought he could have sang it, but I didn't know it anything. But yeah, so, you know, I just reached out to him. I got a hold of his email through Frank Barcelona's daughter, who owned Premier Records. Or Premier Booking, you know, that was they booked the Beatles and everything, big stadium. He's the first guy to do that. And she got right back to me, as I haven't seen her in 25 years. She got right back to me. It was awesome. And the last time I'd seen her, she was 5 years old, sitting in the cloud on the Fly on Michelle video set, you know. And so I guess that had a lasting impression on her. But she gave me his email address, and I just reached out to him and said, "Hey man, long time, you know. How do I get on your label?" And he said, "What do you got?" And so I sent him a couple songs off the Beautiful Things record, and he said, "You're in." That was all he said. "You're in." He gave me some guy's phone number who I'll be dealing with it now.
Well, no wonder you're so comfortable with where you're at.
It's like music has become my part-time job. You know, every now and then I put on the Donnie Vie suit and go get on a plane, you know, and then I come back and here. Like, it's culture shock like you wouldn't believe. Like, here, nobody gives a shit, any respect about me. There's no records or none of that stuff, you know. It's like, that all wore off. And, but then to go out and do two shows every 3 months, 4 months or so, it's like, you know, then I show up somewhere and it's totally the opposite. And everyone loves me and this and that. And it's all adulation and accolades stuff, and I do that. And I don't even get a chance to get into my zone yet. You know, I don't even got my footing for shows and stuff because that's so not unoften that I play, and not to mention sing or play the guitars. I don't pick that up. I got to play some shows not till July. I'll pick up the guitar probably this second week of July just to brush up on it, and then I come back here and it's back to this again. So very strange, very weird, you know, emotionally, psychologically. Very liberating having nothing to lose. It could only go up from where it was at. And I'm on a label. You know what I mean? It's been so long since I've been on a label. I'm on a real label. It gets you played on radio stations. It has a radio station. Gets you interviews, things like that, you know. And not to mention the roster of the guys that are on it. You know what I mean? Lots of guys that, you know, I don't listen to music much, but a lot of the guys that are on there, I have listened to, you know, and so it's cool to be in there, you know, and, you know, what's the worst that can happen is it will be anything better.
No, I feel what you're saying right there with that. And, you know, again, just kind of looping back to what you said previously about, you know, you needed a brother. How is your relationship with Chip now?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
All right.
I see him whenever he needs something that he can't do without me.
All right. Well, I won't dig any further into that.
Yeah.
Now, your new album, it does come out in July, man. You know, and you've always been considered a writer's writer. What song do you feel on that album is the one that's going to get the most play?
Probably whichever one they play the most, because it's like where the most airplay is. You know, of course they have Little Steven's Underground Garage,
right,
which is like one of the coolest radio station there. If you like us and you like classic rock and you like cool things and stuff, that's the coolest station to be on to begin with. And they got a couple other stations, I believe, too, that like on regular radio. My favorite song on the record, there's a couple for a couple different reasons, you know. I like the ballad at the end, the last song. I don't know, I just like that one. It's just and I think I Could Save the World has a pretty strong message at this time, in this time that we're living in, and it's got the guy from Jellyfish on it playing keys and strings and all that shit, Roger, and I got great guys playing on this record, but I don't know, I like different ones. I like the whole fucking thing. The whole record, I have it on my thing when I can still listen to it occasionally. I can't listen to the other stuff, but I can still listen to that. And I have it on my thing. It's just full in sequence. I don't have the individual songs because that's the way it really flows. It's like one big body of work to me. You know what I mean? It's like everything just fit together perfectly. There was lots of songs that dropped out the bottom because of newer ones that fit that record better. It might not have been worse, better songs, but it fit it. So I think of it as one big. If it was a person, it's got all its arms and legs and everything, so it's one big thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your solo material, it definitely feels so personal, man. Now, how has fan feedback been so far?
Been pretty good. I've always was confident, had faith in the record, as far as having legs on its own. I've always thought that I think that it could stand up to, what's out there. And, if you're not if you're a kid, you say you don't listen to regular music anymore. Now we're grandpa. In my day, but I think it stands up on its own. I think, that's all I ever wanted or ever asked for is just a chance for it to be heard, because, if it's heard, I feel pretty confident in it.
It's awesome, man. I have no doubt it's going to be heard, dude. It fucking rocks. Absolutely.
And we'll be in business.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. All right, man. Good luck with the new album release. And are you just doing a few select tour dates?
I'm letting the future decide, As of right now, I'm open to whatever, it's, I'll let the future decide. If there's something worth doing, I'm going to do it.
Sounds good, man.
Well, you're driving, aren't you? I thought I saw a seatbelt.
You did before, man. I was just sitting here in the parking lot, man,
Studio's more primitive than mine.
Hey, listen. My studio, I call it the Wherever I May Roam studio, because I could be in a parking lot, at my home studio, at my work office. So I thought that name was kind of catchy.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not the biggest fan of Sebastian Bach, but I think it's catchy. If he sees me again, he's gonna beat my ass, as he should say.
I'm not going to ask what you did. What did Sebastian do that he hates you?
He can't stand the truth. We were playing with them for about a week or two, with Sebastian's band, and his whole band loved us, and I ended up even getting hired by I forget that guy's name, Richie somebody or other, and so they were letting us, we had backline provided. That's why we can't bring all our gear and stuff. We're doing the band thing at that point. So backline was like, amps will be there, and you never know what the fuck you're gonna go. Who's gonna be there when you show up, and so the band was letting us just use their amps. They're like, just use our amps. It's easier for everybody. You don't have to. Here, I'll give you your own preset, Donnie. I'll give you your own preset. Just hit that button and you're ready to go and stuff. Well, we had a show, some theater with Ronnie James Dio, Sebastian Bach. I believe Lou Graham might have been on there or something, and us. And we're sitting at the lunch table or the dinner table in the back, and Sebastian's holding court, and he's thinking, "What a night we got tonight for singers, man!" He goes, "We got fucking Dio, we got me, we got fucking Lou." And he mentions everybody but me, right? And so and my Chip's like, "What about my brother?" He's like, "Oh yeah, this and that." So I'm like, "What the fuck?" And so everybody comes. They're like, "Hey, can you guys clear the room because Ronnie's going to do an interview?" And so they the room starts clearing out, and they start walking in with Ronnie James Dio, and Sebastian's like going over to talk to him and stuff. And Ronnie walks right past everybody, right to me, and goes to shake my hand. He goes, "Dude," he goes, "I love your pipes, man." He goes, "I love your songs. You guys are fucking great and shit." And so I think I've told that story once or twice before, And I guess Sebastian heard it and he didn't like that. And he's like, he's a liar and this and that. And anybody that knows me knows I don't lie. I should learn how to lie. I'd be in a lot better shape. What you see is what you get. And so, so I'll have to duck Sebastian Bach for the rest of my life.
Oh my
He's a
God,
big guy.
dude.
I seen him get his ass beat on some show before, though. Everybody loved that. That's what's that tell you? When a guy gets his fucking ass kicked on a TV show and everyone loved it,
Well, I'm sure you heard about the whole Monsters of Rock cruise and everything that went on there. So
I hadn't, but I'll trust you. I'll wait till the next time to hear about that one.
Oh my God. Well, let's just say Ted Poley of Danger Danger did not have a lot of good things to say about Sebastian Bach.
Oh, poor Ted. Ted's a sweet guy. He really is. He's a nice guy. Those guys were our friends back in the early days. They'd come out to the shows and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you must be keeping a low profile because that's been out there everywhere. Oh man. Well,
I'm over it, man.
Thank you for that
Thanks,
story about Sebastian, man. That was awesome.
Now he's really gonna beat my ass.
You know what? I think you can take him.
Well, the thing about me is you never know what the fuck to expect. You know what I mean? Because you could get stabbed with a bar stool or something. It's like if I know something's coming down, I'm getting the first one in absolutely. And I might not be a big duke or a viceroy or anything, but I'll grab something, fucking knock you the fuck out. As long as I know it's coming, if you know it's happening, you gotta get the first one. Otherwise, I'm gonna I'll get pummeled to death. It's like beating up a girl.
Oh my gosh, man. Well, you know what? Hopefully it's not coming. Okay, let's just hope it's not.
Hopefully. Well, if Sebastian beats my ass, means I'm working. I certainly ain't gonna run into him here. He's not gonna be in Blue Island anytime soon.
Very true. Great point.
And if he is, he'll have bigger problems than me.
Thank you so much for that, man. I needed this.
Good. I'm glad to help.
All right, brother. Thank you so much, man. Good luck with the new album.
Thank you so much, Joe.
And that right there, my brothers and my sisters, is how you kick off a double dose of denim week. For interviews, the legend, Donnie Vie, the man, the myth, and the perfect hair we all wish we still had. Coming in hot with a new record label home at Little Steven's Wicked Cool Records. And how about what he said about Sebastian Bach? As much as I want to interview Sebastian Bach, because he is in my top 5 of interviews that I haven't accomplished yet. And this is probably not going to help me in any way whatsoever. But I just got to believe all these other artists and Donnie about Sebastian and his negative attitude. I don't know what it is about him. Anyway, I'll just let it go at that. Sebastian, if you're out there and you want to come on the Youth Gone Mild podcast and chat, you should. I would love to. I did name my podcast kind of after the Youth Gone Wild, which was my generation and me personally, my anthem growing up in the late 80s and early 90s. So yeah, Sebas, if you want to come on my show, let's talk about what a lot of people feel is your ego and it being the size of a zip code. But back to the Beautiful Things re-release. It's on July 31st via Wicked Cool Records. New artwork, new packaging, and a new lease on life in the music industry for Donnie Vie, which I could not be any more happier for. If anyone deserves a new lease in the music industry, it is Donnie Vie. And I'm just going to do a quick shout out to my sponsor, Lisa Gandia of Celebrity Events. Again, if you're an artist, a band, whomever, you got talent, look up our talent agent, Lisa Gandia at CelebrityEventsRock.com. She will get your booking done for you. I promise. She does for me. I'm Gen X Joe, and this has been the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade, but rock never does. And remember, rock loud, live proud. Peace out. Props everyone for listening.